Today, scientists said they've discovered an entirely new species of primitive humans.
Through the records, you can find numerous accounts of bones, skeletons, and giant-sized artifacts that have been found in this area.
Sometimes the most frightening things can be found in the most ordinary places. Like a creepy object in your attic, a dark mystery buried in your neighborhood, or a skeleton in your backyard.
This is quite a story in that the United States and Israel have been in contact with a group of aliens.
These discoveries can be really scary, so buckle your belts before we get on this thrilling and scary ride that will leave you shocked. Mysterious creature of Missouri. A forest officer in Missouri came across something that made him freeze in his tracks. While walking his usual patrol route, the officer spotted an odd shape on the forest floor. As he got closer, he saw it was a skeleton of an animal, but not like any he knew.
Cage connected to these long legs.
The creature's skull was upside down, with long teeth sticking out. Its body was strange too, with a rib cage joined to long legs and soft padded paws. Confused, the officer took it to a wildlife expert who examined it closely before taking measurements and samples. He thought it might be an old reptile that had figured out how to live on land. He then kept the creature to study it more. Mysterious relics.
Our envy of the welfare and happiness of others.
In a small town in Mexico, a man found something in the woods that he never expected. He found some strange relic-like objects there, which left him confused. By its shape, it looked like the skull of some ancient, strange human, or maybe an alien, but it was oddly large in size. He handed it over to experts who are now researching it, but so far, no one can say with certainty what it actually was. Experts should thoroughly examine the place where the man found this. Who knows? They might discover more things that could prove it was some ancient monster. Human remains in the mud.
After a thorough search, a total of 153 pounds of human bones were recovered from the field.
A farmer in western Finland found something weird in his muddy field. He called the authorities to check it out. Archaeologists came and dug up 153 pounds of old human remains. These remains were super old, from way before the Vikings lived. Bones were all mixed up in the mud. Archaeologists did tests on the remains and found out they belonged to the Sami people, an ancient civilization. It looked like something strange had happened to them long ago. Archaeologists then took the remains for further study. The alien in the cornfield.
What is it doing?
A farmer in the northern United States noticed strange disturbances in his cornfield. He was curious and decided to investigate, so he took a flashlight and went to check it out. As he walked through the tall corn, he noticed something hiding behind the plants. The thing had big, shiny eyes and a small body, just like aliens in movies. It stood still for a moment, then made eye contact with the farmer before rushing to hide behind some bushes. He felt scared and ran back to his house.
Oh, jeez!
And was sure he had seen an alien. When he checked it back after a while, it wasn't there at all. The mystery on the stretcher. The staff at Mercy Hospital in Los Angeles found a strange creature lying outside the hospital. Its skin looked raw. At first glance, it seemed human-shaped, but something was off. The eyes were the weirdest part. A strange shape with eyeballs unlike anything seen before. Nobody knew where it came from or what it was. Well, few wondered if it was really real. The hospital staff called in experts to take a closer look. For now, the odd creature remains a mystery, leaving everyone curious. Spooky black creature on roadside. Two friends were driving when they saw something strange on the side of the road. It was a black creature, but not like any animal they knew. One friend, who knew a lot about animals, was also left completely puzzled by this creature. It had a thick body that looked like it might have wings. It also had long, sharp teeth that looked quite scary. For a moment, they even wondered if it was an alien. The friends were relieved the strange creature wasn't moving. They decided to call some scientists to check it out. The experts came and took the mystery animal to their lab to study it. This strange discovery shows that sometimes the most surprising things can be found right on the side of the road. Pixie carcass. In a quiet corner of Cornwall, England, something strange happened. A farmer found a tiny skeleton in a bird's nest. It was so small that it looked like it came from a tiny person. News spread fast. Everyone had their own ideas about where the tiny remains came from. Some people thought it was bad luck, while others remembered old stories about magical little creatures called Cornish Pixies. Experts came to study the tiny skeleton. They measured the remains and looked at them closely, but couldn't match them to any known animal. And that's how the mystery of the Cornish Pixie remains unsolved. Unidentified remains. Some discoveries make us think that there was something in ancient times that we still haven't been able to figure out. Recently, scientists found some remains that definitely did not belong to any human. The strangest thing about these remains was the fingers, because unlike a normal human's 5 fingers, they had only 3. As we all know, such fingers are not found in humans, but are often associated with aliens. Experts are doing their full research to exactly figure out what this is, but maybe we already understand or know about it. Maybe it wouldn't be wrong to say that aliens have been visiting Earth since the time when humans hadn't even learned how to live properly here. Strange creature. A farmer in Mexico found something that left everyone puzzled. One morning in 2008, the farmer was walking through his fields when he spotted a weird entity. It was tiny, about the size of a young one, and curled up in a ball. The creature had bones like a human, but its skin looked more like a lizard's. Spooked, the farmer quickly handed the body over to scientists. The scientists did some tests and discovered something crazy. The creature had a huge brain, which meant it could be really smart. Some scientists even thought this might be proof of alien life, believing the creature came from another planet and was probably left behind. Nazca aliens. A few years ago, in Peru, near the famous Nazca lines, scientists found strange 3-fingered mummies, nicknamed Maria and others.
Decided to go to Peru and examine and see if these were fake or real.
These mummies look somewhat like humans, but are too different to be closely related. These mummies, dating back to the 5th century AD, share our 23 pairs of chromosomes, which raises the question, are they human or alien? Researchers have debated on this for so long, with some believing they are an advanced race of humans, while others argue they are extraterrestrial. Maria's rib structure is completely different from ours, making this whole discovery even more mysterious. Mysterious discovery. Archaeologists often make discoveries that lead to many social controversies. Back in 2020, archaeologists made a discovery in an ancient city in Peru that puzzled them as well. They found a strange claw that was definitely not linked to any normal animal or human. The fingers looked exactly like those of an alien, but when it was shared on social media, people gave various opinions. Some believed it was a giant human claw, while others believed it might have been an alien that came to Earth thousands of years ago but couldn't leave again. What's your take on this? The ancient skull. Scientists in Georgia found something amazing that could change what we know about human history. They dug up a very old skull from 1.8 million years ago. It belonged to a man with a big jaw and a tiny brain. They also found 4 more skull pieces from the same time. Each skull looked a bit different, just like how people today don't all look the same. The scientists carefully put the skulls in a special box. They were super excited about this find and hoped it would help them understand more about our very old ancestors. Bones of the unknown. A farmer was digging in his field when he found something that scared him. He dug up a huge skeleton. The skull was long with big, sharp teeth. It had a really long tail, as tall as a grown-up. The bones were all twisted up in weird ways. The farmer didn't know what it was, so he called some animal experts. They came to look at the strange bone, and they took some pieces to study. Everyone was trying to figure out what kind of animal it could be. Was it a monster, or maybe a really old dinosaur? Locals then placed it in a museum and labeled it as the legendary beast. Unmagical unicorn. Scientists have discovered fossils that suggest unicorns were real, but they weren't the magical creatures we imagine. These unicorns roamed the Earth 29,000 years ago alongside humans, and they were far more terrifying than any fairy tale version. In just another shocking discovery, one of the most intriguing finds was the remains of what looks like a juvenile unicorn. The mummified body found in an old wooden case, with spiral horns protruding from its head and snout. While it's not clear exactly what kind of creature this was, it certainly doesn't match the graceful unicorns of legend. Instead, it hints at a much scarier reality. Could this be the real unicorn? What's your take on this? Rooftop residence. A man kept hearing odd sounds from his roof. It made him wonder what was up there. One day, he decided to climb up and take a look. When he peeked over the edge, he got a big surprise. Two small creatures were standing on his roof. They had 2 legs and huge eyes. At first, he thought he'd found aliens, but when he looked closer and realized they were owlets. These little birds were so young they didn't even have many feathers yet. The man was happy to have these surprise guests. He left the owlets alone so they could grow up strong. In a few months, they'd grow all their feathers and learn to fly away. Encounter with the White Walker. A group of friends went on a night adventure in the woods. They were filming their walk when something weird happened. One of them saw a strange shape behind a tree. It looked just like a scary white walker from the stories. The thing was super skinny with pale, dirty skin that made it hard to see among the trees. He quickly grabbed his camera and started filming. When he zoomed in, the creature just stood there, staring with creepy eyes. It didn't move at all. After a few minutes, the strange thing disappeared into the trees. The friends looked everywhere, but they couldn't find it. The forest got really quiet, like it was keeping a big secret. The UFO discovery. A group of friends went on an adventure in the woods, and they noticed a strange sight. Right in front of them, a shiny saucer-shaped spaceship had landed on the ground. It was about the size of a helicopter, gleaming in the sunlight. Suddenly, a short humanoid being appeared. It came out of the spaceship, looking around as if it were searching for something. Its thin body and big, round head looked like an alien. They turned and ran as fast as they could. They could hear the strange noises behind them, as if the spaceship was preparing to take off. Bigfoot in the bushes. A man was working in the forest with his big digging machine. He felt like someone was watching him, but couldn't see anyone at first. When he backed up his machine, he looked in the mirror. There, behind some bushes, was a huge, furry, black creature. It was just standing there, staring at him. The man thought, "That's Bigfoot." He got so scared. He ran away fast. Later, he came back with some friends. They looked everywhere, but couldn't find the big, hairy thing. It was gone. There were cameras in the woods, so they looked through the videos as well, but it was hard to tell what the creature was. Some people said it might be a bear, but bears don't usually hide like that, and the mystery was left behind. The skinwalker of the woods. A group of friends got a big surprise during their trip to the woods. They were flying a drone to take pretty pictures of the trees, but their camera caught something they didn't expect: a pale figure moving between the trees. At first, they thought it was just a lost person, but when the drone got closer, they saw something much scarier. The figure was bald and very skinny, almost not human-looking. It reminded them of stories about the skinwalker, a creepy creature said to walk in the woods. They're still not sure what the drone really filmed. Was it the real skinwalker or just a hoax? The eyes in the dark. A group of friends were having a bonfire in a forest, and they spotted something moving near a tree. Out of curiosity, they decided to investigate. When they shone their flashlights into the shadows, they saw a strange creature. But it wasn't an ordinary animal. It had huge, dark eyes and long, thin fingers. They were shocked and didn't know what to do, but then they realized it wasn't that unsafe. The creature seemed just as surprised to see them and looked almost like an alien. One of them wanted to touch it and slowly reached out his hand, but with a quick movement, it vanished into the darkness as if it had never been there. The lake ghost. Have you ever seen something strange while fishing at night? A fisherman got a big scare during a late-night trip to the lake. Out of nowhere, a weird shape showed up on the lake's surface. What could it be? It looked almost like a person, but not quite. The shape seemed to come up from the water, looking ghostly and see-through. The fisherman couldn't believe what he was seeing. It appeared to be Lake Ghost as it was walking on the water. Frightened, he quickly packed up his stuff and left. Later, he told his friends about the creepy thing he saw, and that lake soon became a hotspot for haunted places. The Flores people of Liangbua Cave. In 2003, some hikers were exploring Liangbua Cave in Indonesia and found something they never expected. They spotted a small figure that looked almost human. It wasn't a regular person. It was a Flores woman. This strange creature stood only 3 feet tall, with a tiny head and very big feet. They were amazed. But then more of these little people appeared, frightening them badly. The hikers ran as fast as they could. They told the local police about the tiny Flores people, but when police went to look, they found nothing. Now, many wonder if these ancient little humans, thought to be long gone, might still be living secretly somewhere in the Liangbua Cave. Strange creature spotted in Gaspésie. A man driving through Gaspésie, Canada, got a big surprise when he stopped to film a moose. He was watching the big animal by the road when something weird caught his eye. In the background, behind some trees, a strange white shape appeared. It was very thin and tall.
Il mange, il est tout relax, là.
Je peux voir?
Nothing like the moose or any normal animal. The man kept filming, amazed by what he was seeing. The white figure moved a bit, then disappeared into the trees. People who saw the video think it might have been a rare albino deer, or maybe even a ghostly spirit from old stories. Mystery in the ancient tunnels. Some friends decided to explore old underground tunnels for fun. As they walked through the dark passages, out of nowhere, a weird shape appeared in the darkness. At first, they couldn't see it clearly, but as they got closer, they saw it was a small creature running on 2 legs. The friends tried to chase after it, but the little beast just disappeared into thin air. This meeting left them with lots of questions. What was this mysterious tunnel creature? Why was it there? The night the aliens came. A man got a big surprise when he looked out his window. He saw 3 ghostly white figures standing by his fence. At first, he thought they were scarecrows, but then he saw their hands moving. Scared but curious, he decided to check it out. The man grabbed his camera and flashlight and went into the woods. There, he caught a quick look at one of the beings. It was short with bright eyes, unlike any animal he knew. He thought he might have seen real aliens. Creepy eye. A man and his friend were hiking in the forest near their town. They were having fun until his friend suddenly stopped walking. She pointed at the ground, looking scared. The man knelt down to see what was there. He found a tiny crack in the dirt, just big enough to peek into. When he looked closer, he saw a face that looked almost human. Then something really stressful happened. One eye appeared out of nowhere. It was huge, with a dark eyeball looking right at him. This wasn't a person's eye or any animal they knew. It seemed to belong to some unknown creature. They were so scared and ran all the way back to town without stopping. The shadow in the yard. The man was just going to check his mail when he spotted something weird in his neighbor's yard. At first, he thought it was a dried-out tree trunk, but when he used his phone to look closer, he saw something that made him jump. It was a tall, strange thing. It had long arms and legs, like a monster in a scary movie. Its skin was bumpy and dark, making it hard to see in the shadows. The man couldn't believe what he was seeing. He even rubbed his eyes, but the strange thing was still there. Scared, he ran inside and put the photo on the internet. Soon, lots of people were talking about it. Many thought it was a creature from another world, lost and trying to go back home. Well, when he returned back, it wasn't there. The sauropod find. A man in Portugal got a big surprise while renovating his old house. He found huge remains sticking out of the ground. He realized these remains were too big to be human. He called experts, and after DNA tests, they found that it was the largest dinosaur fossil ever discovered in Europe. This fossil belonged to a sauropod, a giant dinosaur with a long neck and big body, known for its strong jaws and sharp teeth. It was about 12 feet tall and 40 feet long. They decided to display the skeleton skeleton in a museum so that everyone could see this incredible discovery. Mexican mummy. In a shocking discovery in Mexico, scientists recently showed what they believe are mummified alien bodies to the country's Congress. These alien bodies were put through X-rays and CT scans, and experts say the skeletons are real, not made up or changed.
El primer estudio que se hizo fue una tomografía computarizada.
These two tiny bodies were presented to the world, claiming they are non-human, which has sparked several debates. Some argue these remains are just ancient artifacts from Peru. What's really interesting is that one of these so-called aliens is wearing a ring. Could it be a source of power, a symbol of something, or maybe just a fancy accessory? We don't know yet. But this mystery only makes the whole thing more fascinating. Could these really be aliens? You be the judge and let me know in the comments below what you think. Mini coffins. In the woods, you often find things that make the place seem mysterious. A group of friends went to explore the woods and found something strange there. Near a tree, they found several small coffins. At first, they thought it was interesting, but when they opened them, they were shocked. Inside, it looked like there were tiny mummies of human-like creatures that had been sealed in there for many years. They thought it might be the work of a witch in the jungle who had turned these people into tiny forms and locked them in the coffins. They quickly left the area, which I would say was the right decision. Later, authorities found them and are now researching them. The mysterious visitor in the park. A trail camera in a park caught a really strange sight that left everyone spooked. The camera filmed a strange figure walking through the park. It looked super weird. This creature had straight ears that stuck up like horns, and its eyes seemed to glow in the dark. It was short, which made it look even more odd. At first, the strange thing was just sitting there. Then, the creature noticed the camera filming it. It stood up and stared right at the lens. When people saw the video, they had lots of ideas about what it could be. Some thought it might be a skinwalker. Well, it quickly ran away and was never seen again in that area. Mutant creature. In a video posted by a TikTok account in 2023, a driver had a terrifying encounter while driving through the countryside at night. With only his headlights on crossing through pitch darkness, he drove slowly, suddenly spotting something massive standing in the middle of the road. At first, it looked like just a cow. He honked at the cow. But then the massive animal turned to look at him, and that's when he realized it wasn't a cow at all. At first I said, this creature had the body of a giant cow, but a face that was creepy and unsettling, possibly a mutant, or something even stranger. Without a second's hesitation, the driver reversed his car and sped away. Thankfully, he got away safely. Creepy creature. In this shocking video, captured by hikers, a group of friends come across an abandoned house deep in the forest. As they explore the place, they come across a beautiful balcony in the back. But hold on, something feels off. Hanging from the balcony is a bat, except this isn't any ordinary bat. This thing is massive. You can bet that sight creeped them out, and before you know it, they fled the scene. I mean, who wouldn't after seeing a bat that big? Creepy catch. In Dallas, Texas, there was a building whose upper portion had been closed off for almost a decade, and strange noises were often heard coming from there. A man decided to resolve the mystery, so he looked at the building from his apartment every day, but he didn't find anything unusual. But one day, when he heard the strange noises, he zoomed in with his camera, and guess what? The unusual noises were coming from a skinwalker. Surprisingly, after that day, no strange noises were heard from there again. Maybe the creature realized that humans had seen it and moved to some other abandoned place. Cave witch. A man was exploring a desert and thought he should rest in a cave for a while, but he didn't know that there was someone else there, making it a place he shouldn't have come to. As soon as he entered the cave, he saw a scary witch, which totally shocked him. If someone else had been in his place, they would have immediately run away, but this brave man stayed and began to observe the witch. But when he couldn't identify it at all, he decided it was better to leave. However, who she was and why she was staying there was never discovered. The mystery of the Freemason Cave. A hiker in Oregon's back mountains found something unexpected during his hike. He saw a cave with an odd Freemason symbol carved at the entrance. Curious, he went inside. About 500 meters in, he found 2 wooden benches facing each other. As he went deeper, things got weirder. He saw tiny shoes scattered around, too small for grown-ups.
Air one. I think these are old shoes.
And he also noticed some remains on the ground. Scared, the hiker quickly left and called the police. The police blocked off the cave and started looking into it. They wanted to find out what had been happening in this hidden mountain spot. Hidden experiments. A hiker found something scary in the mountains. Can you imagine what he saw? Inside a cave, he came across an old house where he found dusty equipment, cages, and old files. The house was built during World War II, first as a radar station, but in the 1950s, it turned into something much worse. The files further told a creepy story. The government had tried to make new kinds of soldiers by mixing human DNA with animals. They even used creatures no one had ever seen. They joined different body bits in strange ways. Shocked, the hiker told the local police, but they told him to keep quiet, saying it was top secret. Why do you think they tried to keep this hidden? Let's get the debate going in the comments. Think they'll try to shut us down too? Let's see! Subscriber pick. Secrets of the 3,000-year-old mummy. While digging near an old temple, workers spotted something strange in the dirt. It turned out to be a super old mummy. The builders quickly called the archaeologists. They uncovered a mummy that was 3,000 years old. This ancient body was from the Manche people, who lived in Lima's valleys between 1500 and 1000 BC. The experts think someone put the mummy there when they were building the temple. Maybe it was a gift to their gods, or for good luck. Archaeologists placed this ancient mummy in a museum where people could see it and get a glimpse into ancient civilizations.